So I'm going to show you all the items I have ready for poaching a large quantity of eggs. So I have my pot of water. I do use filtered water because we have access to it at our restaurant, and it just works better for me. This is just south of 200 degrees. It is a slow, small bubble boil, and I do want that. Rise to give it a little bit of upward current to keep those eggs coming up. I've got my thermometer. I've got my slotted spoon. I've got a strainer, a small strainer for scooping out any of the debris that comes off the egg. I've got my cups that I pour my eggs into before dropping them into the water. These allow me to put them right next to the water without them splashing and whatnot. Got my flat of eggs. I've got my pot with a strainer in it that I'm going to crack my eggs into to strain out any of the loose white. I've got my ice bath ready. Make sure that's nice and filled with ice, because as you go through it's going to melt from the heat of the egg, and you don't want to have to worry about refilling that while you've got eggs coming out. And then I've got my staging pan that I will be putting those in. I've got my white vinegar and my salt. Okay, I'm going to put some salt in. I'm going to do a couple tablespoons of white vinegar. And I have found that it is helpful to replenish that after a few batches. It does seem like the eggs do not ball up as nice and neat as they do at the very beginning. Now I have cracked 8 eggs into my strainer, allowing those to drip. The loose white is going to strain out, and the actual sack is going to stay with the egg, so that there won't be this ghostly white egg floating all over my pot, and it makes for a really clean poached egg. I will be putting them into these cups, which helps, and I only do 8 at a time, mainly because I have 8 cups, but it makes it a little bit easier to handle coming out of the strainer instead of having a lot more than that. Okay, I'm going to strain these in. It's pretty cool because no matter how hard I try, the whites just don't want to separate from the yolk. So these will drop in with their white attached to it, and it will sometimes take a little while to get all of it in there, but it usually all stays nice and attached. And then sometimes one will start to run out that's not supposed to, and then all you got to do is just kind of plop it back in like that. That one might. Okay, so now all my eggs are staged inside my cups. I've got them easy to get to, so I can grab them quickly, because I will be dropping those in immediately as I get my vortex going. Next thing I want to do is get my slotted spoon and start stirring. And I want to get this into a nice strong vortex so that the eggs will drop right into the middle and they will spin. But I can only go so fast because I've got the water filled all the way up. This will drop down obviously as the water evaporates through each batch. So I've got that going. I'm going to drop my eggs in one by one. So I've got those in. Sorry, I had to shut the camera off so I could get 2 hands on the eggs to put them in quickly. I like to drop them in as fast as I can, 1, so that they're all about the same time, and 2, I want them to take advantage of that vortex in the middle. And then what I do is just slowly paddle the water. I don't go all the way down to the bottom because all the eggs are floating on the bottom, but I do just create a nice little current going around so that they don't settle on the bottom. These will stick if you let them settle in one spot for too long. And I mean, No, not just a few seconds, but they have to sit there for a while before they start to stick, and then you could possibly break. I forgot one of the most important parts of this is the timer. Make sure that you have a good timer that you can set. I usually set mine for 4 minutes, and then between 3 and 4 minutes I start checking them, just depending on the size of the egg and the temperature of the water and whatnot. It'll poach differently, so I start checking them as soon as I hit about 3 minutes. I'm gonna get this last one out. You see that is a pretty nice little orb of a poached egg. I've already checked it. It's ready to go in the ice bath where it will stop cooking. And I can get the next set ready to go. Since I'm pre-straining these, I don't have a lot of residue. This white foam really doesn't come out too easily. It's just kind of the bubbles of the water. But there's a little bit on the side there I can get out. And just flick that off into my trash can. So at this point I can take my egg out of the ice bath, and I'm gonna pick the egg up, rotate it, make sure that there isn't a large tail coming off of it or a lot of the loose white, which should not be there for the most part since we already pre-strained them. That does definitely help get rid of that process. So you either do the work at the beginning or you do the work at the end. I like doing it this way. It just comes out with a cleaner looking egg, but you can see some of that white still floating off there. So I just clean those up, and I'm gonna put it in my pan here and stage them for service. Now I will say that the thing about poaching eggs, when you think they're getting close to being done, start checking them, because they go from being close to being done to being overdone very quickly at the end. So it takes a while for them to get to that stage, and then you check them once and you come back like 10 seconds later and that egg is ready to pull out. Another 10 seconds later it's overdone. So pull them out. I'm gonna reheat them at boiling temperature for 1.5 minutes when I'm ready to use them. Okay, I'm going to start checking my eggs. That one is firm. That one is firm. Timer just went off. Good. 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 I do like to under poach them just a little bit, so I have that room if I need to heat them up a little longer at time of service. Then I have that flexibility to do so. And I thought there was one more in there. There it is. So yeah, nice little orb. Now I have a nice little batch. I've still got some to pull out of the ice bath, but those will be good to go. So this can also be used, it's not just for commercial purposes. If you're having a party and you want to do eggs Benedict, it would be a good idea to pre-poach your eggs and have them ready to go. So all you have to do is just drop them in the water, boil them for 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, depending on how far you want to take them, and that way you can get them all done at one time with all of your other ingredients already ready to go. Okay, hope this worked for you.